Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. I even have my happy shirt on today. Oh, hang on. You can't quite see the smiley face. There you go. You can see the smiley face. Ooh, you got to go way back. There you go. Smiley face for you. Anyway, welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1677. Up and coming travel destination is what we're talking about tonight. So today, I get the travel news comes through every day in my email. Sometimes I get two, and I was quite enthralled by this one because there is a Latin American country that just broke its all-time tourism record. It's been everywhere over the news. Apparently, I don't watch the news, so I can't testify to that. It is one of the fastest growing travel destinations in South America, and they set a brand new tourism record of over 5.8 million visitors a year. And it not only exceeded the projected target of 5.2 million by a large margin, it also surpassed the previous all-time high set in 2022 by 24.3%. Now, I'm not a mathematician. I just do basic math. But to me, that sounds huge. The country that we're referring to is Colombia. Yeah, Colombia. And it is such a fast-growing pace right now. And they say that the high tourist peak season is December through March. So visit outside of those months, and you will get a nice experience down there. Now, what was interesting when I read this, I thought, oh, I wonder if that plantation is still in existence. So when I last did a travel show, which was... Actually, when did I do that? It was last time I attended the LA travel show back in either 2016 or 2017. I did it. It was in January, either 2016 or 2017. Anyway, I was there and I was working with Down Under Answers and working on their booth with them, selling Australia, New Zealand, and the South Pacific, mainly Australia and New Zealand. It was a lot of fun because why? You ask? It's my primary destination for sending people to. It is my happy place. It's one of those places that I love helping people organize personalized trips to Australia and New Zealand. I have done retreats down in those, sent people on retreats down there as well, but mainly it is the individuals wanting to do their own thing. They don't want to, yes, they may want to see some of the highlight tourist spots and all that, but some of them, they just want off the beaten path. And they want to have an experience that tourists don't get to have. They want that traveler's experience. And so difference between tourist and this shirt screams tourist. Yes, it would stick out like a sore thumb in any crowd, in any destination around the world. Probably offend some people, but it is definitely a tourist type shirt. If you are trying to be a traveler, you blend in with the locals. So the way that you dress, you learn how the locals dress, and you dress appropriately to blend in with them. You don't want to stand out from the crowd. But people coming in with loud shirts, cameras around their neck, or their phones out, constantly taking photos and videos. They're going to all the local tourist attractions. Yeah, they scream tourists. Whereas the travelers want to get away from the crowds. They want to get onto the back roads. They want to experience the country. They want to experience the culture, the food, the scenery, like somebody who lives there. So that's the difference between a traveler and a tourist. Today, I look so much like a tourist, but I will tell you this is my happy shirt. And I will tell you why this is my happy shirt, because every time I go, I board a cruise ship. Every cruise I have, ever boarded, including, no, actually, I don't think I did it on the first one. May not have been the first one, but it was definitely the second one. So on all the cruise lines, whenever I've been on boarding day, I wear this shirt and I put a completely blank expression on my face, and we're walking down, we're going through all the checkpoints and stuff to get up on board the ship. We've checked in. We're now walking up the gangplank and all that to get on the ship, and throughout the thing, you see staff members, crew members are out there welcoming the passengers. There's staff members from the shore side that are there welcoming passengers. And the funniest thing is that most of the time they will look at my blank expression, and I don't know how I do this, but I just school this brilliantly like this. No smile. It's the very rare times that you will actually get me with no smile. And I'm walking up and they'll go, smile, you're going on a cruise. And I just look at them and go, but I am. And then they look at the t-shirt and then I laugh and they laugh and we're all good. So yeah. So that's why it's my happy shirt. I always like to wear it on whenever I'm boarding a cruise. So if you go on any cruise ship and you see this shirt, check to see if I'm wearing it. And if I am, come up and say hi and that you learned about my shirt on my podcast. That would be awesome. Especially if you never know who you're going to meet on a cruise. I will tell you this. You never know who you're going to meet on a cruise ship. I was on a cruise ship in Vancouver, getting ready to leave Vancouver to go and do an inside passage in Alaska. And I met a guy on the ship who is from from the only town I spent the longest time living in New Zealand. I spent 6 years living in this little town of 6,500 people. Oh, it's giving me thumbs up. Okay, we can do that. If you want to do that, we'll do that. And I met a guy on a ship in Vancouver from New Zealand on my first night on the ship. And he was from this little town of 6,500 people where I spent the longest time in New Zealand living. And all my time in New Zealand, I spent the longest time in this little town. And I did 13 towns and cities from one end of the country to the other. And in this one little town of 6,500 people, I lived there for 6 years. My parents lived there for 8. And up until they moved from that place, that was the longest that they had lived anywhere as well, as far as a married couple goes. Which reminds me, happy anniversary, Mum and Dad. Today in New Zealand, they're celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary. I think that's awesome. And then something hits me, it's like, they've been married my entire life. Those poor people. They've had to put up with me and my 2 younger brothers. Yeah, they got some time to themselves when they first got married before I came along. But yeah, so today they're celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary. And I think that is totally awesome. One of my cousins made a comment that they are the couple's goal, that couples want to be, want to achieve what they've got. But anyway, we're totally getting sidetracked from Colombia. So back to Colombia, back to the travel show in Los Angeles when I was there. So when you're at a travel show, you get a lot of other vendors and stuff coming up and wanting to talk to you about places. We had this young couple came up. They were probably in their late 20s, maybe early 30s. And they came up and I got talking with them. And it turns out that they own a coffee plantation in Colombia. And they had just opened the resort side of it. Now, I can't remember if it was a B&B or if it was an actual resort side, but they could have guests staying at their plantation. And what they did at the plantation is that for guests that were staying there, they would take them on a tour of the plantation, show them all about coffee and how it's processed and everything else, to go onto the market, how they grow it, process it, all of that stuff, market it and everything else. And they also included a behind the scenes Colombia tour, which meant that they went to some of the more well-known sites in Colombia, but mainly they were taken off the beaten path. They were taken to, they had a food lover's delight. They would take their guests to these different restaurants to give them the different flavors that you can get in Colombia. And they were all mainly Colombian food restaurants. They had other restaurants in there that had different cuisines and stuff like that, but they were the ones that would go to the authentic Colombian restaurants. And I got the information from them, and I probably still have it tucked away in a box somewhere. Yes, it was amazing. I was opening a box the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is travel stuff from back in 2016, 2015. Recycle. Some of it's still relevant information, like it was information on the thing. I'm like, I could probably get an updated copy on that. Recycle. Like I've got like 4 boxes sitting here to take out to the recycle bin of stuff that I found that is no longer, well, it may still be relevant information, but as far as the itineraries and everything go, they are no longer, as far as the country information goes, yeah, it may still be relevant, but like the cruise ship information, cruise ships have undergone redos. Some of the cruise ships in those catalogs are no longer in service. Some of the ships have had their been into dry dock and had a complete refurbishment and changes of names of restaurants, changes in layouts, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, those ones are no longer relevant. So they're going into file 13. If you don't know what file 13 is, it's the trash can. Well, in this case, the recycle tin. Maybe I should do the file 13B. File 13R for recycle. Yes, they're getting trashed in the recycle bin. So probably somewhere along, and so I know I've got plenty of boxes of these, so I'm working on getting those out of the house, which is going to get rid of a lot of stuff. So yeah, so they had this coffee plantation that they would have guests staying at the coffee plantation. They would do a tour of the plantation. They learned all about coffee processing, and then they got taken on. And this was part of their, it wasn't an extra cost. It was part of their nightly rate to stay at. If they were staying for X number of days, they got to do these. They had some day trips that were organized for them. And different excursions and things. And then they had ones that were included, and then they had ones that you paid for. And I thought, what a great service. They've taken the forethought that people want to learn about their country, want to learn about their culture. So they're making sure that these people get that experience in the best possible way. I thought that's really cool. And I spent probably about 20 minutes talking to this couple. They were just amazing. They really were. And what they included with their overnight, with their guests was just unbelievable. But they definitely got breakfast, and like I said, I can't remember if they're doing it as a resort or as a B&B, but breakfast was definitely included. And based on what excursion they were doing the day, some would include lunch, some would not, and some may include dinner and some did not. So it depended also too on how many days you were staying, and you got to pick from their included excursions which ones you wanted to do. I thought that was brilliant. What a great idea. And they know their country. They said, like, and I said, well, how well do you know your country? They said, well, our area, we know back to front and inside out because they've basically lived in that area, grew up in that area. The coffee plantation is has been handed down through generations. And I can't remember if it was on her side or his side. But they said they've also toured other parts of Colombia as well. And they've toured them so much that they know those areas very well and can recommend places for them to stay, for tours for them to do. And I'm just like, that is, this is like a one-stop shop there in Colombia. You go to this coffee plantation place and you're there you may be staying there for like 5 nights and you're in Colombia for like 2 weeks, and they can help you plan out your entire stay. So I have to go find that information and then find out if they still offer the resort thing, because a lot of things have changed with the global pause that went on for a couple of years, and some places closed down, some places are still in existence. So I want to see if they're still up and running and if they still have these same deals and things. But anyway, because Colombia is now getting over 5.8 million visitors a year. I'm like, that's a lot of people. So I thought, well, that'd be interesting to go and look at. What sort of things can we do? So I went to Colombia.travel. And they have a whole slew of stuff. Now, Colombia has the Caribbean on one side and the Pacific Ocean on the other side. So there's 2 different areas you can go to. You'll get different climates. There's a lot of different, it's got a great ecosystem. Hang on, where's my notes? Here's my notes. It's biodiversity. It's ranking as one of the most biodiverse countries globally. It is a haven for wildlife enthusiasts with numerous national parks and reserves. And you get to see some amazing birds that are there as well. As far as cuisine, it reflects the cultural diversity with dishes like, I'm totally going to scrap these names. Arepas, I think that's it, but they're basically corn cakes. And then there's bandeja paisa, which is a platter of beans, meat, and eggs. Now, that sounds really cool. That sounds like a dinner I would have. And then there's a variety of tropical fruits that they have as well. They've got the diverse climate that they say its geography spans the Amazon rainforest, high Andes mountains. I got to tell you a joke about the Andes in a moment. And the Caribbean and Pacific coastlines. So you've got a lot of different stuff going on in this very small country. Now, about the Andes. Years ago, I heard this joke that this kid was asked in class, they did like a trivial game in the class or something. And the question was, where are the Andes? And he looks at them and goes, on the end of my wristies. There's your little joke for the day. I know, really, really bad joke. But, you pick up these things as you rely. They also have a great art and literature presence there. They have adventure sports because of the different types of terrain. You've got like paragliding, there's rafting, there's mountain biking, all sorts of different types of adventure sports that you can do over the different types of terrain that they have. What else can they do? Hang on, I gotta go back over here. You can go snorkeling, scuba diving, horseback riding, based on what area you are in. You need to know, and they even have in here where to go. You have to know the different regions that are in Colombia, and then based on the region you go to as to what you can do. But I'm just giving you just some highlights. They've got scuba diving, snorkeling. They've got native islands. It's INS, INNS, not islands, Helen. They have sustainable and eco-friendly tourism. They have horseback riding in the countryside where you can go and do horseback riding tours. They have, they're very welcoming to the LGBT community as well. And they even have same-sex marriages down there. And they will even perform the ceremonies there in Colombia. So if you want to go somewhere completely different to get married, why not head down to Colombia? They also have the colonial architecture in Cartagena. There's the beach in the sun. There's trekking in the Sierra Nevadas. They even have, you can even go whale watching. You can go surfing, kayaking, canoeing. What else have they got in here? There's religious tourism as well. I have to go. I'm just looking on Colombia.travel and just seeing what some of the things are. I haven't clicked on any of them to see what you can do, but based on the areas that you are in, and it has the areas listed underneath. So first you have to go to where to go to learn what areas are what, and then you go over to seeing what you can do in each area. You can go sailing, like they've got windsurfing. They have a classical musical festival. That one takes place in Cartagena. Scuba diving, we've talked about that one. They've got different religious buildings that you can go and visit. They have an archaeological park. They have the coffee culture. A lot of coffee culture. They even have historical architecture there as well. Let's see, what else have we got? You've got history in the streets. I don't know what that is, but it's here on the list here. Floating on treetops, and they're showing a person on a beach with a surfboard. They have a gold museum. They have modern and historic tours of cities. They have the Amazonian lakes. You can go bird watching. You can swim with stingrays. Of course, there's shopping. For those that like to shopping, there's sailing. Let's see more. Let's see, what else have we got here? There's sailing. You can visit the parks, the different national parks they have. Bird watching, we've already said that one. Oh, salsa. They are the salsa capital of the world. So if you want to learn salsa, they have salsa lessons there in Cali. Cali. Let's see. You've got, you can do Amazon forest tours. There's Blacks and Whites Carnival. Let's see. We're going to press the. I'm trying to see stuff that's not being. There's cruises that go down to there are cruises in Cartagena. Shopping there as well. It's a great honeymoon destination. Between the mangroves and the sea. Ooh, that might be interesting. Exploring the lost city. They got a lot. There's different festival of the Vallenato legend. Don't know what that is, but we could click it and find out. Weaving. You could learn weaving. That would be really cool. I love weaving. Yeah, they've got a lot of stuff that's starting to repeat because of the different areas. It's repeating by area. But let's go back. I wanted to see, where was it? Oh, yes, salsa. Salsa. Thought I saw something on Oh, yeah, salsa dancing in Cali, which is known as the salsa capital of the world. It offers vibrant nightlife and opportunities to learn salsa. So there is that. There is the Cocora Valley, which is home to the towering wax palm trees, offering breathtaking natural scenery and hiking opportunities. There is the Coffee Triangle, which explores coffee plantations, learn about the coffee making process, and enjoy stunning landscapes. You've got historic Cartagena, which has got well-preserved colonial architecture, vibrant streets, and Caribbean charm of Cartagena make this a must visit. The Amazon rainforest offers unique wildlife spotting, indigenous community visits, and river excursions. There's the Lost City Trek, a challenging hike to the ancient ruins of... I have no idea how to say this. Ciudad, then you would Perdida. Cuda Perida. I don't know. I've totally screwed that one up. Yeah, you need to that one. And they're making huge efforts in peace and safety improvements, making it increasingly popular with international tourists. So that is a little bit about Colombia, which, like I said, is an up-and-coming destination with over 5.8 million visitors a year now, which is phenomenal, especially for that little country there. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I'm just having a quick read through. The peak season is December through March. So you're about guaranteed a calm, crowd-free experience in some of the world's most stunning landscapes. Oh, pricing down there. Your US dollars will go a long way down there. They say that a 3-course meal for 2 people at a mid-range restaurant, the average price is $25.42. And a 1-mile taxi ride will only set you back $2.86. That's US money. So yeah, and they say, but in the main cities, the average of the meal might be a little higher along with the taxi ride, but in the outlying cities that aren't as big and as touristy, and most of the other areas, you can get those prices and things. It's a haven for remote workers. And they're saying a lot of people are going down there. They say American and EU citizens can live visa-free in the country for up to 6 months. However, you'll need to renew the initial leave at the 3-month mark. And those planning to stay a little bit longer in the country, and who can blame them, I'm just reading what the article says, can apply for a local digital nomad visa, and a process that will set you back roughly about $30. So it's becoming a very popular place for people to go. So I just saw that article and I thought it would make a great topic for this evening. So have you been to Colombia? What do you think of it? And that is all we have. And my picture has frozen, so hopefully the rest of it's still recording properly. Who knows? But that's it from us for this evening. Have you visited Colombia? What do you think of it? What are some of the places that you would put on a don't miss list for Colombia? Have you lived there? Have you stayed there for any length of time? Let us know in the comments below. Would love to hear your feedback on Colombia. It's not a place I've been to yet. Okay, that's it from us for this evening. Everybody have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.